Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast episode, which is for our digital presence update. The internet, in this case, is ready to talk about some things. So, today's episode is going to be about the internet is building a case about your business. Now, I know that this is nothing new for a lot of people who have listened to this podcast in the past, but it is very important that we do talk about it. And I'm glad that we're bringing it up again today because I know that there's much more that's coming out into view as we move forward, uh, you know, with how digital presence and AI and all this other stuff. So we're working together. So without further ado, I will say this. Really, last time we talked about your website becoming the source of truth of your business, if you will. But here's the next part of that conversation. Your website does not exist by itself, as you well know. The rest of the internet is constantly either supporting what your website says or it's contradicting it. So let's just say the website says one thing, right? Google Business Profile says another. Reviews emphasize a different service that maybe you're not really talking about on your website, right? Or even in your listings. Maybe social media shows work the website actually never mentions, leaving people scratching their head going like, what services do they even offer? Why don't I see that on your website, right? Old directories, maybe they contain outdated contact information. Or hey, even worse, AI assistants try to decide which version that you have out there of all this mess is actually accurate. So the central idea here is that digital presence, right, is becoming a body of evidence. It's not just about, hey, look at me, and it's not a PR gimmick. It's not a marketing gimmick. It is purely trying to get people to understand and see and algorithms and AI to see the body of evidence as well. So the key thing to think about with this idea is that your website establishes the official record. It's like the single source of truth, like we mentioned last time. The rest of the internet helps kind of prove or disprove that record. So that's kind of how it goes. So today we're going to kind of cover how Google kind of tracks social and video content and search a little bit, and why creator content kind of affects AI visibility as well. How your reviews are really becoming this big, huge data for AI assistance, and why some legitimate businesses remain unverifiable, and what those businesses and other SMBs, small and medium businesses, can do without becoming full-time marketers. And that's the key things that we're going to talk about today. So when first and foremost, Google just confirmed that social content is search content. You heard it here. I'm sure I'm not the first person to say it. I've seen articles about it. But in normal land, this is what you're going to see for a long time. Businesses have treated SEO and social media as completely separate jobs, I think, as a lot of people know, especially in the industry. But today, it's a little different. But what it used to be like was that SEO kind of happened on the website, social happened on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. And I say TikTok on purpose because this really wasn't that long ago where this was the case, guys. Each platform really had its own analytics. They were in these walled gardens, and the website was considered the only search asset, right? It was the only thing that you had to find on a search engine. Well, now, and has become more increasingly relevant for the past few years, Google has introduced platform properties in Search Console, allowing verified owners to see how Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube content performs across Google Search and Discover. Reports can now show clicks, impressions, individual posts, and the search terms people are used to the search terms people use to discover that content. So translation, guys, Google is effectively kind of acknowledging that your social media video content is part of your searchable digital presence now. Wow, it's almost like people were saying this was going to happen. I wonder who that would be. I'm not going to pat myself on the back. It's unfortunate because I was hoping that this stuff would be a little further down the line, that we would have more time for everybody to be able to partake in the .com boom like era that we were experiencing. But now, guys, is the time where things start to become competitive. So if you haven't already started because you wanted to get ahead of everybody, now you're going to have to get started because you need to compete with everybody. Get ready for lots of people to be like, I don't know why I don't show up online. Get ready. It's coming. It's here. Actually, it's just pretty much here. It's already happening. I get it all the time. I get people who I talked to 2 years ago who were just like, I don't need digital presence. It's fine. I'm good. And they're contacting me now, and they're saying I need it. What was it again? And my packages have like become way more verbose and more. They're cost effective, but they have become a little more expensive because of the amount of digital presence now that we now have to use the tools for. Versus a couple of years ago, where there was only a few things you really had to do, but now it's very different. The tools are more verbose too, which is good, but they're also they're doing more, a lot more. So definitely good to see that the people who do recognize the issue are getting into it now, though, and I'm happy to see it. So that means this, guys, get back to it, that if you make a video, it could appear in Google before the website does. Think about that. You make a video, it could appear in Google before your website does. It'll introduce the business to someone new, which is great. It could even answer a customer question, right? Maybe people are asking a question specifically, like say for instance you're a pest control company, right? And you want to really know how to deal with ants. I do believe one of my pest control companies that is a client of ours was talking about how crazy ants are pretty numerous apparently this time right now in near Houston, Texas. And so, I didn't know much about crazy ants myself, so I was just like, well, man. But just imagine someone like me asking, well, what is crazy ants? What is that? And then my pest control company's video that talks about crazy ants comes up and it's like, hey, yeah, this is what crazy ants are. This is what they do. Uh, Kind of a big deal, isn't it? You know, that will answer the question. That'll introduce that person, such as myself, to the pest control company. And I may be like, well, they know what they're talking about. I want to use them because they know about crazy ants. And who else does, right? And, that just reinforces experience and expertise, right? And look, it becomes this first trust signal someone can encounter potentially. So it does not mean that any business should abandon its website, right, and just kind of live entirely on social platforms. That's insane. It's not because it still remains your single source of truth. So social content basically creates discovery potentially. Your website still provides ownership, right? Depth and verification. So that people who are like, oh, this people may know what they're talking about based off what I see on the social media. I trust their word now a little more. Let me go look at their website. Oh, look, they do offer all the things that they talk about in the video. And they've got, reviews. Oh, yeah, they got a lot of a great track record. Oh, yeah, perfect. This is awesome. I would love to have them come out. And that way, if you're a pest control company and you're trying to expand, you're trying to grow, what's going to happen is you need to charge a certain dollar amount so that you can do that. Well, you can definitely charge a higher dollar amount too now. Not an extreme. I'm just saying you don't have to scrape the bottom of the barrel in terms of price for people to be convinced now to use your service, because if they trust you, if they trust your service or your product, they're going to be willing to pay what they see as valuable and worthwhile versus being attracted by some bottom of the barrel price and going, well, I guess if it's not good, it's, it's, I guess if it's not good, it didn't cost that much, right? No, that's not the attitude that you really want to have people adopt with your business. They'll remember that. They'll tell their friends that, and not good. So let's think about it like this in segment two. AI is reading what other people are saying about you. Your business is not the only party contributing to your digital identity. Let me say it again. Your business is not the only party contributing to your digital identity. Customers, creators, reviewers, directories, journalists, and community organizations all contribute information to your business's identity online. Here's an example. In July, OpenAI and Yelp expanded their relationship so ChatGPT can use Yelp's real time local data. It includes reviews, ratings, photos, and certain request a quote experiences with branded links returning users to Yelp in ChatGPT. Think about that. So what that means, guys, is that when someone asks ChatGPT about a local business, the answer may be influenced by what customers have said elsewhere, not simply by what the business says about itself, right? So let's think about it, like review language. What does that mean? Like, what does it communicate? Which services customers actually purchase, for instance, or what qualities repeatedly stand out? Um, common complaints. Common complaints. What people describe the business as reliable doing, right? Maybe recurring specialties. Sentiment around the overall experience. The point is that when someone asks ChatGPT about a local business, what is it going to do? It's going to look at a lot of places, but it's going to look at reviews as well to get the sentiment of the company itself. So let's say a contractor's website says, we provide complete residential improvement services. I'm talking about a construction contractor, okay? But the reviews repeatedly mention cabin installation, fast emergency repairs, clean job sites, or strong communication. So the AI systems may form a more specific understanding from that repeated evidence, not what's on the website. All right. So what that means is that you'll need to understand that you'll want to mention the same things that you know these reviews are saying on your website, and hopefully whatever service you're providing, you're going to want people to be able to see, hey, we provide complete residential improvement services. Have some residential improvement services comments on your reviews. you know. So so another information he say about this subject is that recent search engine land analyses argues that creator reviews, videos, and social posts can shape AI citations, sentiment, and visibility because they provide third party perspectives that branded content cannot fully replicate. So, the practical takeaway on this is that businesses should not attempt to control every conversation. They should create experiences worth documenting. So, we would encourage then for genuine reviews, customer photos where appropriate, right? Community mentions, referral partner content, case studies, real demonstrations of the work, and thoughtful responses to criticism. Look, your brand is what you publish. Your reputation is what the rest of the internet confirms. Clip that. And I want to talk a bit more about the customer photos No, I'm sorry, the community mentions and referral partner content as well. I think that's a really strong thing to talk about because we all understand reviews. We all, we got to have them. We all understand case studies. You make them every now and then because they're really powerful. And I would highly recommend if you haven't had done a case study before, definitely get started. It's better than a testimonial in a lot of ways. Okay, it doesn't have to be super detailed. It just has to show the proof of the work. That's all it needs to have, and that really is the real demonstration of the work. But as far as referral partner content and community mentions, um, the community itself will mention you if you do things for them, or with them, I should say. So I highly recommend being involved in the community in some capacity. Donate your time, donate your services, donate your efforts. Do so, and you will get the community to mention you. It's really simple, of course, but doing it is not simple all the time. And the referral partner content's a great idea. You really need to get people who are working with you, or not even that, just people you know in your network. Just support them. That's the whole purpose of referrals. Get people who need somebody to do something for them in front of the person that's actually going to do that. And, vice versa, that person who needs clients is going to be like, hey, thank you. I really appreciate that. They will also, in kind, very likely refer to you anybody who's needing your services. So, getting referral partner content, and posting things up from your referral partners, as well as them doing the same thing for you, is a fantastic idea. Now, for segment three, I want to talk about the identity leak problem. So let's talk about a business that are businesses that are legitimate in the real world, but difficult for AI to verify. So, a recent search engine land contributor audited 71 verified businesses in Prince Edward Island and reported significant gaps between the business's real identities and what AI retrieval systems could confirm. The study called this an identity leak. Think about that. Because it covers a limited regional sample, sorry, and uses the author's own scoring framework. It treats the percentages as directional rather than universal. So, okay, in plain English, what does this mean? All right, an identity leak is the gap between what is true about your business and what the internet can clearly prove. Clip that. So, examples found in this audit, for instance, that we just talked about, is that important facts buried on secondary pages, websites returning little readable text to automated retrieval systems, expired or inactive domains, multiple domains representing the same company, businesses existing mainly through third party directories. I've seen that a lot actually. No clearly named leadership. Also seen that as well. Missing policy or trust information. If any of those things ring a bell for you, highly recommend giving us a call. Highly recommend it. Please, please, please get in touch with us immediately. It is very, very, very important. Or just go to wearetaft.com and definitely sign up to talk to us. It is important that you guys remain vigilant. It's important that you guys remain vigilant. Okay. So, all right. Now, let's do this. Let's break down some of the most relatable problems, I think, for this. No real person is visible. Let's take that one. No clearly named leadership or visible person. Okay. A website may describe, like your team, right? Or our team. But it really does never aim, it really never names an owner or manager or practitioner or subject matter expert. So ask this to yourself. Who is accountable for the business? Like, if the website looks good, but it doesn't really say a whole lot, it has large graphics, heavy animation, generic slogans, little readable service information. It has important facts loaded in ways some retrieval systems may miss, or the identity is fragmented. Like, say, the old domain still appears, former address remains online, multiple phone numbers. Yeah, multiple phone numbers. Not always a good thing. Different names across directories. One social profile uses an outdated brand. Look, if all of these things are happening, it is, even worse, right? The third parties, such as like listings and stuff, like explain the businesses better than a business does, like a directory or a booking platform. A beautiful website can still be digitally anonymous. Okay. So here's a 5-minute SMB identity check. Is the domain you have active and secure? Is the business name consistent? All right, across everything. Are the address and phone number current? Is your real owner or team member named, not implied, named? Okay. Are services stated plainly? Can the important text be copied and read? It's important. It needs to be copied and read, not in a picture somewhere. Text on on the web pages. Can the are privacy and contact pages present? Does the website link to the correct profiles? That's very important, social media especially. And do those profiles link back to your website? AI cannot verify the reputation you have in real life unless the evidence exists online. Clip that. So let's go to segment 4 then, with all of that in mind. Your business needs an entity, not just a brand. Right? Leads into this very well. Look, a brand is how you want people to feel about your business. The entity is the clear collection of facts that establishes what the business actually is. So, Joe Wallace is connected to TAP Solutions, right? TAP Solutions provides specific services. The company serves defined locations. Its website profile reviews and mentions refer to the same organization, right? Its content demonstrates experience with those services. So a recent search engine land guidance kind of recommends auditing an organization's AI entity footprint, the collection of facts, association sources, and relationships AI systems can find about it. Okay. Well, if we're doing an audit like that, does AI correctly explain what your business does? Does it associate you with the right city or the right places? Does it recognize you're a specialist? Does it confuse you with another company? I've seen that happen a few times. I really have. And does it mention former owners or services? Now, here's a real challenge right there, isn't it? Which sources does it rely on, and are those sources accurate? Look, if you really want to know where you stand in your business, here are some prompts that will help you do just that. Okay. So let's start with some natural questions. Putting into ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, whoever you want. Just pick one. What does your business name do? And we'll say, what does TAF Solutions do? Um, who owns or operates TAF Solutions? You can look up mine if you want. But I insert my business into, in fact, I want to confuse people. Start over again. What does business name do? Your business do, right? Who owns or operates business name? Where does business name provide service? What is business name known for? Is business name a good option for this need, this service? Right? What are alternatives to business name? That's a really good one. One answer is not a definitive source, though. Okay. Ask all those questions, but only asking one is not a definitive source. AI responses will vary by platform, they will vary by phrasing, personalization, location, and retrieval behavior. All of these things are different, and every single time you put in a question, it is going to run all of it again. It's going to go through the process again. It is not consistent, you know. Now, the more consistent your business is, the more consistent it is going to find the same information when it looks. Because that's why you need a spread out approach, right? It's un it's like there's so much happening in a crowd and you can't miss it, right? But if you're like a needle in a haystack, your business is a needle in a haystack, it's just not going to find it. Period. It may find it one time, but if you make 500 video or it's not 500, you made 50 videos in one day and then you upload them all and you put them out there. Cool. But a year later, you ask it to, ask questions, or you ask questions to the AI ask about what is the expertise is done. It may refer to those videos, but it may actually try to refer to other videos that maybe you haven't done. And that has nothing to do with your business. It may not even find you. It may not even find those videos. You need to be consistent. It's better to do just one video maybe a week or a month. Just do it over time. And the more you do that, the more it's more likely to find you. It's not luck of the draw. It also looks for consistency. It looks for how often you're doing it. We've talked about this 100 times. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again, but I want to get back to the subject at hand. So, but guys, got any questions on that? You definitely let us know. Come to wearetap.com. Give us a shout. Okay. Basically, the goal is not to manipulate an AI answer. Okay. The goal is to make the truth easier to retrieve, is the point. Okay. So, our final segment before our rapid fire digital presence update is what you should do now as a small or medium sized business. Look, step one, establish one canonical website, use one primary domain, redirect old domains properly, right? Keep the domain renewed and ensure that HTTPS works. Keep it secure, okay? And avoid duplicating versions of the business. Step two, you need to state the basic facts plainly. So on your website, clearly identify business name, ownership or leadership, services, locations or service areas, right? Contact information, experience and qualifications, your hours, okay, and next steps for anybody who's interested in actually partaking in your service or buying from you product wise. Step number 3, align the outside profiles. What does that mean? Look, you need to review your Google business profile, your Google business profile, your Bing places, your major directories. Apple Maps can be like that as well. You should probably use that as well, unless you're a service area business, in which case Apple Maps will not take you at all. Social profiles, check those. Industry specific platforms. So if you guys have oil and gas, or you're looking for something that's a little more specific, right? Maybe contractual work. Check those. And of course, your review platforms. Okay. Now, step 4 is to publish the proof of activity, things that you do, right? So you need to have recent work that you put out, right? Or educational videos. Those are fantastic. Updated photos, right? Customer stories. Those are great too. Testimonials are fantastic as well, if you can get those. And community involvement. So definitely jump out there in the community, guys, and start showing that you're doing that. And of course, even better, helpful answers. Guys, if you get questions all the time, turn those into videos, turn those into posts or photos, blog articles. Just do something. Earn authentic third-party validation. What does that mean? Reviews. Get reviews, partnerships, partner up with people, local news, talk to the local news, professional associations, community organizations, relevant directories, and referrals. Referrals, referrals. And then step number 6, monitor the story over time. Look, your business evolves. The internet will not update automatically to that evolution, which means that you need to do the whole process all over again. Though it should be a lot easier more often you do it because you won't have to recreate the wheel every time. Look, digital presence is not a one-time cleanup. It is absolutely going to be ongoing identity management. Clip that. Now, for our digital presence update rapid fire. Update number 1. Google can now report on social and video discovery. Search consoles, platform properties allow creators and businesses to monitor how verified TikTok, Instagram, X, and YouTube content appears across search, Discover, and Google News. Translation: video and social platforms can now be evaluated as part of search visibility rather than only inside each social platform. Update number 2. Google tightened its review transparency guidance. What that means is obviously, let me continue that idea. Google added a review snippet guideline addressing fake reviews and undisclosed incentivized reviews. People paying for reviews, right? Stating the change was intended to improve transparency. Translation: review strategy should be built around authentic customer experience, please, not purchased credibility, which is not actually credibility at all, is it? Update number 3, ChatGPT now has richer local business evidence. Listen, Yelp's integration gave ChatGPT access to live review, rating, photo, and local business information from Yelp. What that means is local AI visibility is becoming increasingly dependent on third-party reputation data. Update number 4, Google itself is prominent inside AI mode. One analysis reported Google-owned business and product cards playing a major role in AI mode citations, particularly for local and shopping-related searches. Translation: your Google-controlled business data remains extremely important even as AI search expands. That just reinforces the need, guys, to maintain business profile information, photos, categories, products, services, hours, or reviews. That's all it does. Last update, images are also part of the evidence. Google's current documentation says it can use schema markup and the OG semicolon or colon image tag when selecting thumbnails for search and discovery, and recommends relevant, higher resolution images rather than generic logos or text-heavy graphics. Basically translating, visuals do not really decorate your content. They help represent it across discovery services. So guys, in closing, your website should be the source of truth, like we talked about. But reviews, social posts, videos, profiles, images, community mentions, and third-party sources form the supporting evidence as well. So we talked about how the website defines the business. We talked about how listings confirm the facts. We talked about how reviews describe the experience of your business. And we've described how social and video demonstrates activity. We've described how third-party mentions reinforce authority. And we even talked about how AI systems assemble all the pieces together. So, what does it all mean? The future of digital presence is not winning just on one simple little platform, right? It is creating a consistent enough body of evidence that people, machines, algorithms, AI all reach the same accurate conclusion about your business. That's it. This is Joe Wallace with Taft Solutions, helping you make sense of what's changing so you can keep moving forward. Have a good one, guys. I'll catch you next time.